My name is Brian Mulligan. I come from New Zealand and I'm a physical therapist or physiotherapist. And by chance in 1985 I found something that had never been done before, and as a result I have an amazing life as a lecturer and a teacher, even in my 80s, of travelling around the world and promoting my concepts. It's terrible to put a name to a concept, and sometimes we regret this. But the Mulligan concept came about because we came up with something completely new, and it's never been done before. For years, people have been mobilising and manipulating joints. And I learnt from my mentor, Freddie Kaltenborn, to mobilise and manipulate joints. And I learned from other people, Jeff Maitland and Bob Elvey. There's an endless number of people. But I came up by sheer chance with something that had never been done before. And that was the repositioning or mobilising of joint surfaces. And when I was doing this, I added a movement at the same time. People had repositioned joints several times and then see if they could move better. They got hold of a joint and manipulated it. Can you move better? Well, I got hold of a joint and I repositioned it. And while I repositioned it, I undertook or the patient carried out a movement or sometimes a function. You may have a problem with gripping and you reposition the appropriate joint and now you have no problem with gripping. And it's applied to the entire body. And that makes it quite unique. Well, manual therapy is the movement of joints and bones, even things like massage. It's the use of the hands in the treatment of patients. To me, it's top of the list, absolutely top of the list. And there's a tendency for people these days to do less and less hands-on therapy. And that's probably because they can't achieve very much when they're using their hands. And what we can do with our hands when we're using our concepts is so amazing that I want people throughout the world to have access to what we do, and it's all to do with the use of hands. Manual therapy has a wonderful future, but what distresses me as far as physiotherapists are concerned, that once upon a time it was very important that we used our hands. It was being taught. And now the manual therapy is decreasing in the world. When I travel the world, I find people are coming through physiotherapy schools who've never done any manual or learned any manual techniques whatsoever. And that's distressing, because if we're not using these hands, and we've got some options available where you need your hands, then I'm afraid that cycle has got to change, and we've got to start using our hands again. In the field of, let's talk about musculoskeletal medicine, that is where my interest lies, and everything we teach and do is involved in the field of musculoskeletal medicine. So I would say to students, when you decide what you want to do, if you're interested in musculoskeletal medicine, you must learn what we have to offer. First of all, knowledge is paramount. And you've got to be fully aware, for instance, of your anatomy, your osteology, and those things can only be taught by people who really are top of the tree. And once you have all that knowledge behind you, you can then use it to advantage when you deal in the field of musculoskeletal medicine. You've even got to know the contraindications to things like manual therapy and manipulation, but they've got to get the basics first.